Hi, welcome to The Real Life. I'm Doc, and I'm back with my lovely wife, PJ.
Welcome back, you sexy mofos.
Yeah.
You all know how sexy you are. I don't have to say this all the time. All right, let's get to the topic. Today I'm rocking Christian Dior, ladies. These are comfortable. I like these.
I like those too. I'm rocking the Christian Louboutins, so we got no Christians.
The topic for today is called guilt trips.
Guilt trip. A lot of people put guilt trips on you throughout life, and you put guilt trips on yourself for various reasons. It could be political reasons, spiritual reasons, religious reasons, or just life. Life has a way of throwing curveballs at you. We go through life, we commit various acts that society or whatever society that is you belong to, whether it's the Christendom or whether it's a political group or whether it's some other type of group you belong to, or it's just your family upbringing, you find yourself guilty of some, type of offense. And then that guilt weighs on you and you carry it around with you, and it becomes somewhat of an embodiment of hurt. And now you feel so guilty that you can't progress and move forward in life. You deem yourself unworthy to achieve certain things or to receive certain things. All of us are guilty of that at some point in our life, and we have to try to find some way of now releasing ourselves of that offense or that guilt. And I'm gonna tell you, a lot of things that you hold yourself guilty of, you shouldn't be holding yourself guilty of. Things just happen, and we are people, and this is a human experience. And it's life. And a lot of things that you hold yourself guilty of, other people are not thinking about you the same way. We think that this higher power, whatever you want to call it, is judging the what you did rather than the why you did it. The dark forces can make you feel guilty about something that maybe the universe is not activated in. Like, for example, growing up in the church, I was told about fornication. You're not supposed to fornicate, no sex before marriage. But you can't really find the root or the reasoning behind them holding you guilty of that. They put these rules, which really end up being stumbling blocks in front of people. When I was in law school, they said an unjust law is no law at all. And I think that's what happens in life.
I agree with what my husband said with the church. They have all these different rules. They tell you what it is you should do and what you should not do. It's about the why. Why did you do what you did? Not what you did, why you did it.
Yeah.
And then these churches, when they do this, they say all these rules that they make up because of their interpretation or translation of the Bible. You're wondering, why can't I do certain things?
Yeah.
And then they make you feel like if you do it, then you're looked down upon.
Yeah, you're guilty of some
You're
major
guilty.
offense.
Yeah. It's just too difficult to keep up with their rules, and then
Yeah.
you feel like you're not going to make it.
This issue with religious doctrine that says, you can't. But then when you look at all of the religions around the world, all of them come to one particular section where they meet, and that's love. Everybody agrees about that. But nobody can agree on what we shouldn't do. Man comes up with these rules, especially in religious doctrine. I can't let the denomination of your church dictate righteousness for me. I can't let you say, because I'm not Baptist, I can't do this, or because I'm not Muslim, I can't do this. The quality of life is determined by how I treat people, how I walk in my everyday life, how I think about myself, self-reflection, being able to say, did I do good today, or did I do something bad today? Every day isn't bad, every day isn't good, but it doesn't mean that everything you do, you need to walk around with this cloud of judgment. All the things that you think you're doing to uphold your doctrine of belief, whatever it is, secular or religious, that doctrine that you hold on to is not the pre-qualifications to get you into the kingdom.
Right.
That's not it. Just like the ones you think are going to make it into the kingdom
Aren't the ones. That's a good point that you made, babe. Me and my husband used to go to a church. After you've gone through several churches, you kind of realize that these churches are just as flawed as the people that aren't going to church, or probably even
More
worse.
so, yeah.
It's just a form of division. Doing right doesn't require you to go to church
God ain't even in half of these churches anyway.
in most of them.
Most of them.
Now, he might visit one day and leave if it's good enough, but he is
Yeah.
not there.
Yeah.
So what we're saying is, if you're not going to a church, or if you're just trying to find the right thing to do to end up in the right place, there's good and there's evil.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. There's doing the right thing and doing the wrong.
That's pretty easy, right?
There's someone or something or higher power that wants you to make it.
Yeah.
And then there's something
That doesn't.
does not want you to make it.
Yeah.
And when you're on this journey to try to get to the right place, you're going to find out at every turn you make, it is going to try to
It's coming.
stop you
It's
from
coming.
getting down this road to go and do the right things.
Yeah.
Now, when you make a mistake, something happened that was so tragic to you, that's difficult for you to deal with, and you made some wrong decisions. You went the other way. You went down the wrong path.
Yeah.
Realize you did something wrong, and then figure out why you did it, and then ask for forgiveness, and then start doing the right thing. Don't let that dark force keep you going down this path. Let me give you an example. I was 20 years old. I was dating my first husband. I was a part of the church at that time. While I was dating him, I got pregnant
Yeah.
with my first child. I was like, oh my gosh, the church is going to condemn me. I got to make it right. So in order to cover up the pregnancy, I made another mistake and went further down the path. I ended up getting married to this man that I was not in love with to cover up the pregnancy. I felt guilty.
Yeah.
I felt like I wasn't going to heaven.
Yeah.
I felt like I was done. There's no reason for me to try anymore because the church said that I made a mistake. And I'm now faced with, I'm doing the wrong thing. I can never do the right thing. I can never get my life right. So why not continue to go down this wrong path? Because I ain't gonna never get over here
Right.
to where I'm gonna end up going to heaven one day. And I keep finding myself going down this path until I finally made the right decision. I don't need to be married to this man. There's too much religion. And because I made a mistake, that caused me to continue going down this path until I realized, why did I make the first mistake?
Yeah.
And then I started making better decisions. So I finally made the right decision by divorcing him. I got to get my life right. There's still this path to go up there.
That's right.
At any moment,
That's
you
right.
can turn the tide and
That's right.
start going down the right path. Be sincerely horrible about it. I don't ever want to make that mistake again. So I decided I'm not going to do that anymore. But then I closed it off. You got to close it off
You gotta close that door.
and say, please forgive me
Yeah.
for what I did. I made a
And you
horrible
have to
mistake.
forgive yourself.
And then you got to forgive yourself.
I call it power in the oops. Oops, I made a mistake. Because that's where you find grace. When you realize I made a mistake, let me fix it, there's power in there. Because we've all been there. I got married, young age, stupid because of proximity.
Yeah.
You were there.
Yeah.
So certainly we're supposed to get married because you're always there. And being there didn't mean you were there. And she was not there. It was a time of discovery.
Yeah.
And I'll say this, folks, don't get married in a time of discovery.
Don't get
Do
married young.
not do it.
Don't
When-
get married until you're probably late 20s and
early
30s.
30s. When you know yourself.
Yeah.
I sincerely mean this. I
Yes,
hope you're
please,
listening.
please, young people. We're letting you know our mistakes.
We've
Do
been
not
married a
get
long
married.
time, and both of us have been married before. And I'm telling you,
Yeah.
do not get married
We make
young
mistakes.
because you don't know yourself, you don't know your world, you don't know the world around you and the world at large. So you don't even know what you believe, because that's going to change.
Yeah.
You don't know what you like, because that's going to change.
Right.
And you don't know what you love, because you have to grow into love.
Yeah.
Love is not something, you don't just grab something, pick it up off the ground, and
Say
I
that.
love this.
Yeah.
No, you don't. No, you don't. You have no idea. You're making mistakes. Are you redeemable? Yes. Absolutely. Oops, I made a mistake.
I made a mistake. I
And
want to get it right.
I want to get it right.
You can do that.
And I'm not condoning divorce by no means. But I'm telling you, just like this AB issue that's out right now, and they're saying, kill Roe v. Wade, sometimes you need an exit plan
Yeah.
for the oops.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to say it.
I made some bad decisions.
I made some decisions that are not worthy of this.
Yeah.
And I need to correct those decisions. I need to find a new pathway forward. I need to chart out myself a new course,
Yeah.
because I call it the wide line, straight line principle.
Yeah.
You can be, the road is this wide to going the right direction.
Yeah.
And you can go this way, and this way, and this way, and this way. You're going to be oops, 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 oops. You're going to make mistakes along the way, but keep moving forward. Don't go oops
And keep going.
and keep going.
Even if you do keep going the wrong way, because you still aren't mature enough to realize what you like, what you don't, whatever the reasons are that you're going down the wrong path. At some point, realize there's a place for second chances.
Yes.
Second and third chances to
Yes.
get it right. If that happens, whatever your situation is, there's nothing that you could come up with that is so bad that there's not room for second chances.
There's second chances for everybody and for every situation. Listen, there's some people out there right now, their families are broken
Yeah.
for whatever reason. You can fix that.
Yeah, you can fix it.
You can fix that if you're mature enough.
Yeah.
It takes maturity to come back and say, I was wrong. I made a mistake. I apologize for whatever I said or did to you. Can you forgive me? Can you let this go? Because we are better together than we are separate. Can you do that for me? Because I need that. I need you to forgive me. You can't forgive me, it's going to be hard for me to forgive myself. If you get to the point where you can grow up enough to say that, then forgiveness is available and deliverance is available. Second chances are available. Grace is available when you are able to look the person in the face and tell them, I made a mistake.
Yeah.
And even if you got married and it was wrong, go to your spouse and tell them, listen, we got married under the wrong circumstances.
Yeah.
I do not want us to fight. We are not going to take
Yeah.
this and have a war.
Yeah.
I want to settle this now, peacefully and amicably. I'm sorry. Forgive me because I wasn't ready. I
Mary?
wasn't supposed to be here.
I made a bad decision.
Yeah.
Just because you married somebody for the wrong reasons doesn't mean you have to stay married to them.
We're not about
We're not
divorce.
about divorce.
Not
but
about-
there's room for second chances.
There is grace.
If you make a wrong decision and you married somebody like I did and my husband did, we married the wrong people. We were young. It is what it is. Just don't be judging me like y'all ain't do nothing. I'm not perfect. It is what it is. It takes a lot of courage. But when you do that, there's room for forgiveness. I'm going to warn you right now. There is that dark force that's going to say what you did
Oh,
was
yeah.
worse than anything that anybody else did.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
never going to be forgiven. As a matter of fact, you might as well just keep going down this road. Don't listen to that dark force.
When you make that switch, everything starts lining up
Yeah.
right behind it.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden, you can see your horizon. Your pathway looks clearer. Things start lining up. I always say this, there's three people talking. There's the light, there's the dark, and then there's you.
Yeah.
You have to realize who it is.
Yeah.
The light is saying good things. The dark is saying all negative things.
Yeah.
And then there's you that is confused as to whether it's the light or the dark.
Or it's you that don't want to believe that you've done anything wrong.
Well,
There are
you
these
have
people
some.
out there that are doing the wrong things
And don't care.
And no matter what anybody says, nobody can convince them that they are doing the wrong thing because they still want to go down that path. Those are the people that are going to find themselves lost.
The people that do that have a soul sickness. They have something going on in their mind that tells them that even wrong is right. When there's a clear demarcation between right and wrong. I mean, it's because they have to make an excuse
Yeah.
for why it's right.
It's always somebody else's fault.
It's always somebody else's fault, or you just don't understand.
Yeah.
Or it's just me.
Yeah.
Why can't I do me?
You're listening to the Dark Force, and it's convincing you. You're
Dark
convinced.
Force is highly convincing because it's even convinced people that men are not men and women are not women, that you could be whatever you feel like you're going to be.
Yeah, yeah.
It's sinister. This Dark Force, it will make you strip logic completely out of the equation. You could be black and hate yourself so much that you can't stand being around another person that's as dark as you. And then you think about your offspring and you see them as being light as the driven snow. You know
Somebody has told you before that something is wrong with something that you've done. You didn't listen. Somebody else came down your path in your life and told you this thing that you're doing is wrong. You still don't listen.
Yeah.
And no matter how many people come down and tell you that you're doing the wrong thing, you still want to keep going on because the Dark Force is convincing you, no, there's nothing wrong with what you're doing. They don't know what they're talking about. All that just to keep you from going the right path. If you're not honest with yourself, at some point, there is going to be a place where it's too late.
At some point, try to turn around because there is a point where it's going to log it as if there's no hope for you. There's no reason for you to change because now your change becomes transactional. I'm changing because this happened. I'm changing because this is about to happen. That's wrong. I'm changing because somebody else changed. No, you have to change for you, and you have to recognize the change is genuine because of me. I see what I did wrong. I see the error in my ways. I'm noticing things are not going the way they should, so I'm making a change because I realize it's the wrong direction. But until you can do that, you may end up hitting that wall.
Yeah.
And now your change can only come through a transaction. It doesn't work that way. Like, for example, you fall in love with somebody, you get married to them, and they say to you, what have you done for me lately? So that means I have to do something in order to get something. It's transactional.
Yeah.
True love isn't transactional. True love is unconditional. My wife don't have to cook another meal for me. I appreciate every meal you cook, every one of them, because they off the chain. But I don't. But I'm not married to you.
Say that about my food, man.
Your pots is burning.
I be putting it down in the kitchen,
Your
man.
pots
I be
is burning,
trying.
man.
And let me tell
She
you.
be up in them pots like.
Yeah. And let me just say this. I do this not because I have to. I
It's
didn't
out
do
of
this
love,
because
man.
some man told me this was my role.
Kitchen.
No, I'm doing this because I love my husband.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it.
He don't got to do nothing for me to do something nice for him. My husband talks about how much he loves me all the time. This whole show it's about the real life. Our brand is love.
That's
If you
what it
haven't
is.
seen that yet, then you might need to go and watch some of the other videos. But we could go broke and lose this house
Yeah.
and be on the side of the street and I'd be hurt. The marriage is not built on where we live. It's not built on how much money he brings to the table. It's not built on me wearing Christian Dior's or not.
Yeah.
It's built on the love that we share with one another. That we're going to be together, and that's what it is.
If I had to put Dolce and Gabbana and Dior and Hermes on you to get you to stay, then you don't love me.
That's what I'm saying.
I can't put it no other way.
These relationships where they get together and they say they love each other, test it.
Wow.
Test these people that say they love each other. Here's how you do it. You watch them. Watch their relationship. Whoever you admire or whoever you see that is married, watch their relationship. And watch it to see if they're doing what they're doing because of the things they have Are they doing it for show? Or are they doing it without you being around? They would continue to be that way. But at any rate, what we're saying is we're able to tell you this because the love that we shared is something we want to share with the audience,
Right.
to let you know there's love that exists that is willing to forgive you at any point you decide to stop
Stop and come home.
and come home.